Okay, Google, stop.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Online Champions for Justice event at Roger Williams University School of Law. My name is Gregory Bowman, and I have the honor and privilege of being the new dean of this fine institution, and I am really excited to welcome you to this virtual event. It is a bit strange, I have to be honest, holding this event online instead of in person. Usually, I think we'd have hundreds of people gathered together in a ballroom in Providence for this. It would be quite the party and quite the opportunity for our students to network with and get to know the leaders in the Rhode Island legal community. In short, Champions for Justice is one of the premier events in the annual life of the Rhode Island legal community, and we look forward to holding the event in person again next year. But even though things keep us apart, keep us distanced from one another right now, we thought it was still important to hold this event, hold it online in order to raise funds for our student programs and to thank all of our sponsors and our supporters for their generous support. And in that spirit, I want to acknowledge and thank our lead sponsor for this evening's event, the law firm of Jones Kelleher LLP. Jones Kelleher is a strong supporter of this law school and our programs, and we deeply appreciate their friendship and their support for our law school and our students. And I also want to give our deep thanks and our appreciation to our other event sponsors this evening who are listed on the program and on the event website. Please note that we have set up this evening's event as a Zoom event, not as a Zoom webcast. And we thought that would be a nice thing to do because we wanted you to be able to see who else was in attendance, sort of kind of like it might be if we were in the same room together. That also means that you have control over your view, but we encourage you to use the speaker view option in order to have the best, most optimal viewing experience. So also right now, at this very moment, we have a student-run live auction happening, as we usually do with the Champions for Justice event. It's been going on all day, and the link to the site is in the chat. Bids are rolling in, and I encourage everyone to take a look at the offerings before the auction closes tonight at 9 p.m. You could be the lucky winner of a delicious wine and cheese board donated by the Feinstein Center for Pro Bono and Experiential Education. I have been in a fierce bidding war all day for that one. A 1-month pass to park in the highly coveted Dean's parking space in front of the law school, and I can personally attest that that parking spot is awesome. So get your bids in. A lunch with me, a dinner with 4 deans, Bruce Kogan, David Logan, Michael Yanofsky, and me, and more. A lot of our auction items this evening have been donated by our alumni, our faculty, and our staff, and we are very grateful as well to our corporate partners, Kaplan and Themis, for donating bar review courses that are worth more than $1,000 each. I also want to say a big thank you at this time to our 3L student, Corey Lee, for leading the planning for this auction. Corey is going to be sending me messages during the evening, during the event, so that I can provide you with some live updates on the auction during this evening's program. And again, the link to the online auction is in the chat. It's on a site called HandBids. So get your bids in, and as I get updates, I will share them. So I am the new dean. I have been in Rhode Island since May. I have been officially on the job for 8.5 months, and almost all of it has been virtual. I have yet to meet many of you in person. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself at this, my first Champions for Justice event, and tell you why I decided to move to Rhode Island to join the Roger Williams University community. I did not grow up here. I did not grow up in New England, but I did grow up in a small state, the state of West Virginia. And West Virginia and Rhode Island are quite different in many ways, but they are also very much alike in other ways. They're both small. They both have proud heritages. Their people are proud. They both share a strong sense of place, and they both are very different in some ways from their neighboring states. And then there is this charming similarity. People in both states tend to give directions in the same way, something like this. Somebody might say to me when I ask for directions, so to find the shop I was telling you about, it's easy. You go down the road about half a mile, you turn left at the intersection where the blue house used to be, and you can't miss it. Now, something like that happened to me in my very first week in Rhode Island. I was trying to find a tailor shop, and I stopped to get to a tailor shop that had just closed. There were 4 people outside. They all gave me directions 4 different ways. Each insisted that the way they said was best, and they all said I couldn't miss it. And of course, I got lost. So that was funny to me, and I felt very much at home. And frankly, I still do. So here's another important fact about me. I love small places. I love small, distinctive places that have carved out their own special place in the world. So I grew up in West Virginia. I have lived in a number of other places around the globe that are small or smallish, like Denmark, South Korea, County Devon in England, which is in the southwest in the rural part of England, Switzerland. And I really admire and cherish how those places carve out their own special corner in the world. They're places that engage the world successfully, but remain distinctive and special. And Rhode Island is that kind of place too. And that means it is special. It is unique. It is absolutely beautiful. It is filled with people who are hardworking and do not put on airs. It has a rich history that spans the centuries with multicultural influences. It has stuffies and calamari. It has pride in people who grew up here and achieved success elsewhere. And in today's long overdue era of national reckoning over race, I see people and organizations in Rhode Island working to acknowledge and address the awful stain and continued impact of slavery and the slave trade on our country. So I like it here in Rhode Island. And to be at the state's only law school with campuses in both Bristol and Providence, that's an amazing opportunity on so many levels that I could not pass up. And I'm very, very grateful to my law school and university colleagues for giving me this opportunity to be part of the Rhode Island legal community and to work with all of you to make a difference in this really special state. And speaking of university colleagues, it is my pleasure at this time to introduce the president of Roger Williams University, Giannis Mialis, for a few remarks. Giannis, thank you very much for being with us tonight. The virtual podium is yours.
Thank you, Dean Bowman. Thank you, Greg. Your transition, Greg, to Roger Williams University in Rhode Island, and the transition from my friend Dil Yarnowski to your leadership has just been incredible for me to see. I had a great time actually at this event in person prior to the pandemic, and I'm glad to be with you again tonight virtually. This is such a great event, and the passion you all have for Roger Williams University Law still comes across on the screen. And I have been thinking a lot about the future lately for the university and for what the world needs from our graduates. And I was really inspired by Amanda Gorman, our National Youth Poet Laureate, reading her inaugural poem, The Hill We Must Climb. She spoke in it about the notion of the status quo and that what just is not always just us. I love the idea that we cannot just accept things as they are and settle for what just is. There is a call to action we all must listen to and push for and strive for justice. It is noble and hard work. We hold up some great examples of that tonight, inspiring folks to hold up as true champions. But we celebrate their examples knowing that they are the tip of the iceberg. They exemplify the spirit of Roger Williams University Law and those ideals we hope to instill in all of our graduates in the law school and across all our programs. So thank you for being with us. Thanks for your commitment to Roger Williams University Law. Thanks, Greg, and back to you.
Great, and thank you very much, Giannis, for being here. We really appreciate your leadership and your support for the law school. And also with us this evening is our provost. And for those of you who have not met our provost, let me introduce her. Margaret Everett joined Roger Williams University at the same time I did in the midst of the pandemic. And she came here from Lesley University in Boston, along, as I said, at the same time when I came here from West Virginia. And she has become a strong supporter of the law school. And I am appreciative of her as a colleague. So Margaret, thank you for being with us here tonight, and the podium is yours.
Thank you so much, Greg, and thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. It's wonderful to see everyone, and I share with Greg the sentiment that I wish it was in person, but it gives us something to look forward to next year, and I was really delighted to be included tonight. Before I moved to the East Coast a few years ago, I spent much of my career in Portland, Oregon, and listening to Greg talk about his experiences in West Virginia and his affection for his new state of Rhode Island really resonated with me very much. I have often observed the same thing, that it is a state with unique and special qualities, sometimes quirky, and it's turned out to be a really beautiful place to live, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm especially happy to be at Roger Williams and to have great partners to work with, like Greg. And I know he and I share a real enthusiasm for the potential future partnerships between the law school and the other schools and colleges in the university that I work with. And it's really just such an incredible asset for us to have a law school and to have the only law school in Rhode Island. And as we look forward to great interdisciplinary initiatives, to have a Marine Affairs Institute to strengthen and partner with our marine sciences and other coastal related programs is just an incredible and exciting opportunity We're also looking at expanding our 3+3 options for undergraduates so that in 6 years they can complete a bachelor's and a JD. It's just an incredible opportunity for our students, and I really believe that it's a great contribution to the needs of the state and to some of the issues around justice that Greg was speaking about. So really, really exciting to think about the next generation of law school graduates and our role in creating pathways for that. I also want to say, oh, and one more sort of exciting partnership to sort of underscore with you is our work with the University College in Providence that Greg alluded to, and their paralegal studies program, and just lots and lots of connections and partnerships in the Providence area. So it's really is a wonderful, energizing, albeit challenging time. And Dean Bowman has just been a terrific partner to work with. He is creative, he's thoughtful, he's a great partner, very enthusiastic about collaboration. And as I think you have noted from his remarks tonight, he has a really genuine and strong commitment to justice. And that's a great inspiration and resource for all of us. So I'm delighted to be here. I just want to thank all of the sponsors and the students who are always ready to help our community through both service and financial support. We couldn't do this important work without you. And so thank you again for including me, and I hope you have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Margaret. We really appreciate you being here. We have a lot of exciting things that we can do together as a university and a law school. So our reporter on the scene, Corey Lee, has provided an update on the live auction, and the bidding is intense. There's a bidding war going on with Themis at 1,050. The wine and cheese board, I'm very upset to see that I have been outbid at 165. And I am going to have to go and rectify that after the event. There is 350 down on the drinking club, a wine tasting basket for $100. And the bargain items are Kaplan Bar Prep, again, something worth $1,000, and alumni networking events. So please get your bids in. Okay, so speaking of students and helping students and celebrating students, that's really what this event is about. There are other people here tonight. In case you haven't noticed, we're joined by some of our amazing law students. So students, if you wouldn't mind turning on your cameras, waving, or using the wave feature or whatever, type something into the chat to say hello to everyone. We're really glad that you're here. You are the reason that we are here tonight. We're really glad that you joined us at this event. You are our future colleagues. We're also joined by other distinguished guests this evening. Thank you and welcome to members of our federal and state judiciary, our elected officials, university trustees, members of the law school's board of directors, members of the Law Alumni Association board of directors, members, honorary degree recipients, and returning champions for justice whom we have honored in previous years. So thank you for being here with us tonight. Again, I look forward to meeting so many of you in person as we put this terrible pandemic behind us. So now I want to turn over the virtual podium to the chair of our law school's board of directors, U.S. District Court Judge William Smith. Judge Smith has been a wonderful guide and advisor and director, chair of our board of directors for me, and I really have appreciated building a relationship with him and learning from him as I have transitioned into the state. Judge, the podium is yours. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Greg. It's great to be here, and it's great to welcome all of you who are here on behalf of the board. It's probably good to have somebody on this welcome committee who's been in Rhode Island for more than 18 months. It's been an amazing transition at the university and at the law school, and to see all of this unfold during a pandemic, a new president, new provost, a new dean of the law school, and all the changes that are going on in higher education. And we have not only made it through, but we have thrived in this this very challenging environment, and it's really because of the terrific leadership that we have had, and not just the leadership with Giannis and Margaret and Greg and so many others, but the staff and the faculty, everyone who has just pulled together to get us through these challenging times. So it's been wonderful to watch that, and frankly to be a part of it. Like so many of you here, I love this event for a whole bunch of reasons, but I think the primary one is it really is the highlight. In my view, it's the highlight of the legal season, if you will. It's the best legal social event of the year. I think we all enjoy so much getting together and seeing our friends and our colleagues, and really our future colleagues in the bar. There's always such a warm and celebratory feeling when we all gather for these events live. And although we're not together live this year, I think the fact that we're here, at least virtually, reminds us of the event, and it reminds us of what it is that we like about being lawyers in Rhode Island. And it really speaks to the camaraderie that we have among the bar and the bench, and what a integral part of that the law school has become, how important the law school is, not just to the legal community, but to the fabric of the entire community in the state of Rhode Island. And it's a remarkable achievement. I remember a few years ago giving a short introduction and thinking back to the days when the law school was just being talked about, and how it was opposed by so many people that we didn't need a law school in Rhode Island. And now to think of where this law school stands in the community, those kinds of ideas are a distant memory, but it's almost unfathomable to think of Rhode Island without the Roger Williams University Law School. The other reason I love the event, I think like so many of you, is it really reminds me of why we all became lawyers. Not just to serve ourselves, but to serve others, to really turn ourselves into service leaders. And I think everyone who's here embodies that sentiment. And it's just great to get together once a year and participate in this event, and be reminded of all of that. So I just want to welcome everybody, say I miss you all. I'm really looking forward to seeing you all again next year in person. I'm looking through this silent auction. I'm thinking about a few things to bid on. I've poured myself a glass of wine to help with that process, since I don't have anywhere to drive. And I'm thinking about career advice, from Zach Mandel or maybe Adam Ramos. I'm not sure which one of them I want to go with. Maybe dinner with those deans, but then I thought I get enough of those deans. I don't want to do that. So the drinking stuff is out of my league. I don't think I will be competing there. There's a lot of great things on here. I think we should all take a good look and see if we can find something that can help us contribute to the mission. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Greg. And I'm really looking forward to the conversations that we're going to hear tonight.
Thank you, Judge, very much. It has struck me since we began planning this event that, of course, it is a fundraiser, but it's also a celebration. It's a celebration of the programs that we support and the work that we do. It is a statement of fact, with no puffery at all, that this is the best staff that I've ever been affiliated with in my 27-year career. We have a highly talented and dedicated faculty, and such a supportive bar. And those are recipes for future greatness for our programs and our students in our law school. So thanks very much. We have the auction to support our public interest stipend program was the way this started, small and in the lobby of the law school, and it has grown now into this big gala event that raises thousands upon thousands of dollars for the Pro Bono Collaborative, our alternative spring break program, clinical externships, clinical law programs, and our public interest summer stipend program. Each year, 100,000 or more to support these programs. This year is no different, even though we're online and we're getting close to our goal, but we're not there yet. And Judge Smith, I think you have a future as a salesperson if you decide you want to hang up your judicial robes, because that was a great pitch for the auction. So last year we helped raise, and among that $100,000, we raised money for 33 students to obtain summer stipends for unpaid public interest summer internships. So they were unpaid and we provided them a stipend to help them with that. And we hope to increase both the number and the size of those stipends this year to meet unmet student demand. So your funding gives our students a chance to help people in need, to give our students an opportunity to learn what it means to be a lawyer, to be the only thing between a client and disaster. That's what it means to be a lawyer. It helps our students learn that the legal profession is, in the truest sense of the word, a service profession. And it helps us teach and show our students that being a lawyer is more than just a job. It is more than just a career. When it is practiced right, it is a true calling that has great meaning and impact. And while the work of everyone at our law school matters, there are certain members of our community who are centrally important to the pro bono facing and outward facing clinical opportunities that are supported by this Champions for Justice event. So I want to give them public thanks right now. So please join me in recognizing and thanking these colleagues of mine for their good work for the law school. Andy Horwitz, our Dean of Experiential Education. Debbie Gonzalez, our Director of our Immigration Clinic. Lori Barron, the Director of our Feinstein Center for Pro Bono and Experiential Education. Eliza Vorenberg, our Director of Pro Bono and Community Partnerships. Susie Harrington-Steppen, our Associate Director of Pro Bono Programs. Katie Ahern, our Director of our Business Startup Clinic. Nadia Humber, the Director of our Corporate Counsel, Government and Prosecution Clinical Externship Programs, and who is also an expert in housing discrimination. And Scott Kilpatrick of the law firm Chisholm and Kilpatrick, who directs the law school's Veterans Disability Appeals Field Clinic. Again, if you're one of those excellent folks, wave your hands. You know, we appreciate you very much. These folks do amazing work. Thank you, Lori. I see you. That was 2 hands. And we're grateful to you for your excellence and your professionalism and your dedication. So our programs do great work, but these programs and their success is not guaranteed. It's not foreordained. All across the nation, law schools face enormous challenges. Many law schools have downsized. They've eliminated programs. And too often, these closures start with programs like the one we are supporting tonight. And some law schools, sadly, have even closed. So when we say tonight, and when I tell you tonight that RWU Law is succeeding and that your support makes all the difference, that is not just a casual or empty statement. We are doing important work that matters, and none of it will be possible without support from you, our friends and our supporters. So thank you again. You make our success possible year after year. You are our partners in success. So tonight, because we're online, it is different than previous Champions for Justice events. We are not going to be handing out any awards this evening. We thought it would be better to wait until next year when we are back together in person to do that. Instead, tonight we are going to hear testimonials from 2 current law students and 1 law school alum about their experiences at RWU Law that were made possible through generous Champions for Justice funding. I can tell you all about it, but I think it is much better if you hear it from the actual folks who benefited from your generosity. Do we have an update from the auction here? Let me see. Oh, yes, new bidding war. Hope and Maine Food Basket. Park like the Dean. I like that one. I might just bid on that one myself. Pizza Beverages with Giannis and the lovely Lori Barron. That is a quote from our reporter in the field. And again, bottom items, Kaplan Courses, Grubhub gift card for $100. We have some bargains there that you can take advantage of. So get your bids in. All right, so now we get to my favorite part of the program, the core of the program, where we hear from our students and one alum. And I'm glad to welcome my colleague, Lori Barron, to introduce them and have a conversation with them. And I also want to let everyone know that I wrote a really, really nice introduction for Lori. It was really kind, it was spectacular, it was worded perfectly, and I showed it to her, and she told me very kindly but very firmly that she doesn't need an introduction. And in truth, she's right. She's famous, she's beloved, and the epitome of someone who needs no introduction. So we are so fortunate to have her at the law school, and without further ado, Lori, take it away.
Thank you, Greg. So I just have to clarify that when Greg shared his lovely introduction with me, I was touched because he wrote a truly beautiful introduction of me. And frankly, nobody has been that complimentary of me since I came to law school 20 years ago, including my husband, who was once our dean. So just to set the record straight, when I told Greg I didn't need an introduction, it wasn't in the sense that like Oprah or Tom Brady doesn't need an introduction, okay? It was, Michael is in trouble. It was that I didn't deserve such a generous introduction. And as Judge Smith knows, a few years ago, we decided at this event that we weren't gonna introduce people who were introducing people who were introducing people to save all of you from all of that. So that's why I said I didn't need an introduction. But thank you, Greg, for that lovely introduction that only you and I will ever hear. And in addition to being such a terrific leader, Greg has a huge heart, and that, that introduction was really beautiful. So I want to give you a few quick updates before we turn to the main event. Our Pro Bono Collaborative is now in its 16th year. Thank you to so many of you here tonight. We are so proud that we have so many PBC alumni who did the PBC when they were students who are now supervising attorneys. It really is a dream come true for the PBC and one of the PBC visions realized. Even with the challenges that COVID presents, we have continued to run our existing pro bono programs and develop new programs, and we've partnered with organizations near and far working on our pandemic-related legal work. We've also launched several new initiatives, including a pop-up externship in eviction defense that's being taught by Susie Harrington-Steppens, so students can learn about lawyering in the midst of a crisis and make a difference locally. We've transformed our alternative spring break program, and I know many of you on here helped to lead that program, Marcus Swift and others. This year, it became an alternative winter break program, and we had 110 students participating in 28 different placements remotely during the week of January 18th. The bulk of our supervising attorneys on those projects were our alumni, and we are so proud of our alumni who are paying it forward and mentoring our students. So now, the best part, our students and alumni. So the first person I want to introduce is Jessica in Suryaga. She's a 3L, and Jess, you can unmute. Are you here?
I'm here. Hi.
Okay, yay. So Jessica's going to tell you all about her pro bono and social justice work, but I want you to know about everything else that she does. Jessica has served in so many leadership roles in the law school, Moot Court Executive Board. She's on the law school's Diversity and Inclusion Steering Committee. She's secretary of the SBA. She's part of the Latino Law Students Association and the Association for Public Interest Law, and I think the National Lawyers Guild. And I still remember Jessica at our first, at the town hall for alternative spring break, her 1L year. And she had spent her spring break with the Committee for Public Counsel Services in Fall River, and she was the presenter for her group. And I remember her speaking in such a compelling way that, and telling us that she had found her calling and found her people. And I knew from that moment that Jessica was going to be a public interest star, and she is. So welcome to Jessica. And Jessica, why don't you tell us first where you're from and where you went to college and sort of how you got here to law school.
So you set the bar really high that I have to speak very well, and now I'm incredibly nervous. So hello, everyone.
Do not be nervous. These are all your friends.
Hi, it's so good to see everybody. So my name is Jessica in Suryaga. I am from El Paso, Texas. Moved up here just for law school. I went to undergrad at the College of the Southwest in New Mexico. Waited 10 years and then finally got the courage and drove up here and loved it ever since. Moved up here wanting to be a public defender. And as Lori mentioned, I did ASB and absolutely fell in love and have just done everything public interest ever since, and have had the opportunity to do that because of this program. And so I'm truly grateful to all of you.
Jessica, go back for a minute. Tell us a little bit about what you did between college and law school, because that was a long time, and who else you brought with you to Rhode Island.
Sure. So I have a 13-year-old boss that kind of dictates my life and tells me what to do. So she was a big part of my life before law school and now. And I was also a legal assistant in a personal injury law firm, which really kind of taught me that that's not the direction that I wanted to go. Public defense is just where I've wanted to be. And really that's all I did, is just work and save money to go to law school and be a parent. And so she's here with me now, not right now, but I moved up here with her and my partner, and we've just been here ever since.
Beautiful. Jessica, tell us a little bit about what you've done in the pro bono realm, about street law, and then your clinic and your externship.
Sure. So I think I've done a lot of what there is to do. I wish there was more time, not more years in law school, but just more time to get it done. So I did alternative spring break. I did street law as a teacher, and then loved it so much that I came back as a street law leader the following year. I did my summer pro bono program with CPCS in Fall River. So I ended up going back to them. I did the criminal defense clinic with the incomparable Andy Horowitz. And now I'm with the public interest externship clinic with the phenomenal attorneys at the Rhode Island Public Defender's Office.
Excellent. Jessica, what are your plans for after law school?
So like I said, I have somebody that tells me what to do and where to go, and she wants to head home. So that's what we're doing. Being from a border town, it really has unique obstacles and unique injustices that I knew I wanted to, leave, get experience, and get the skills to help them. And so it's only fitting that I head back home and do that. And so after law school, I've accepted a job with the New Mexico Public Defender's Office in Las Cruces, so I'll be doing that.
Yay. And thank you so much, Jessica. We're so proud of you. I'm sure everybody on this call knows that public interest jobs are really hard to come by, and Jessica had this job before Christmas in a pandemic year. So you can imagine how much they wanted her, and we will miss her so much, but we've got her for several more weeks. And as you can hear from her story, summer stipends helped her in the summertime. Alternative spring break has helped her get where she is, and she is pursuing her dream. So thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, everyone.
You can relax now, have a glass of wine. Now, Sophia Weaver is our next student. She's also a 3L. And Sophia just ducked out of her trial ad class, which is meeting right now, literally in the law school. And I think Sophia is supposed to be doing a cross-examination. So instead, she's here about to be cross-examined by me. I just want to tell you a little bit about Sophia. And I'm not seeing her. Sophia, you're here, right?
I'm here.
Yay, there you are. Okay, there's so many boxes. So in addition to all the great social justice work that Sophia will tell you about, like Jessica, she's a leader in our law school. She's the editor-in-chief of the Law Review, and I'm seeing a lot of our other women editors-in-chief on this call. So Sophia's carrying on that tradition. She's on the Title IX task force at the university. She was the Esther Clark semifinalist and Best Oral Advocate, president of the American Constitution Society. And before law school, Sophia was a flower farmer for many years, starting when she was a freshman in high school. And when she was a 1L, I remember sitting down with Sophia and I asked her how law school was going. And she said, law school isn't so hard once you've transplanted several thousand zinnia plants on a hot August day. So it's all relative. And I give you Sophia. So Sophia, tell us a little bit about where you grew up, where you went to college, being a flower farmer, and how you decided to come to law school.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Just to get it out of the way, I don't like talking about myself, so I apologize if I am a little awkward. I came to Rhode Island when I was 5, so I think at this point I'm basically an honorary native Rhode Islander. I went to URI for undergrad and studied anthropology and gender and women's studies. And while I was there, I really focused on sexual assault prevention and domestic violence prevention. And that was really when I started thinking about a career in public interest. But I didn't really think about law school. I didn't know any lawyers. My family, I was a first generation college student, so I didn't really think about law school until I was interning with a domestic violence advocacy group, and I was sitting in on court, and I think it was an eviction hearing or something like that, and the lawyer wasn't very impressive. And I remember thinking to myself, I could do that. So after I graduated, I was farming for a little while, and then I decided to apply to law school, and here I am.
Thank you, Sophia. Tell us a little bit about what you've done while you've been here, what you've done in terms of pro bono, your summers, and then we'll get to your 3L experiences.
Okay. Well, so during my first year, I just focused on class because it was like learning a new language at warp speed. So just focused on classes. And then during my 1L summer, I was lucky enough to intern with the amazing Judge McConnell at the U.S. District Court in Providence. And that experience really solidified my passion for the law. That's really when I knew law school was the right choice. And I also was able to see how the law can impact people's lives, and really just made me even more sure that I wanted to do public interest work. And then during my 2L year, right before the pandemic struck, I was able to be part of the Pro Bono Collaborative's civil legal clinic at the Men's ACI. And that was a really an amazing experience. I'd never been in a prison before. And I think it's easy to have a lot of assumptions about what people are like who are in prison, and all of the residents were just really kind and funny. There was one day we just finished talking about what he needed help with, and we were just sort of chatting, and my client said to me, you can't see my hair in the Zoom, but I have highlights that are red that go up my head, and I had my hair up, and he said, you know, your hair makes it look like you have devil horns. And I just thought that was the funniest thing. We'll never forget that. So then during my 2L summer, I was lucky enough to get a stipend. So I interned with the Women's Law Project in Pennsylvania. We actually have an alum there, Christine Castro. I'm not sure what year she graduated, but that's how I got that connection. And I did work with reproductive rights and access to abortion. And then this past fall, I worked with the oh so amazing Deborah Gonzalez at the Immigration Clinic, which is just one of the greatest experiences I've had in my whole life, let alone just in law school. And then now I'm in the public interest externship, and I'm externing with Gender Justice, which is an organization in Minnesota that does gender equity work.
Sophia, tell us a little bit more about the types of issues you're focusing on now in your externship.
Yeah, so I'm still doing a lot with abortion access. That's really what I care about, reproductive rights. But we also do things with trans rights, specifically working on trans students' rights and the rights of trans athletes.
Beautiful. And just so the group knows, one of the beauties of the pandemic is that students in my externship program are externing remotely with organizations all around the country. So Sophia's amazing supervising attorney is actually going to teach our class by Zoom next week and tell us about all of the hot topics that are going on in gender justice right now. Sophia, what's the plan? What's the long-term vision, and what are you doing next year?
All right, I'll start with the easy question. Next year, I'm going to be clerking with Judge Alvord at the Connecticut Appellate Court. So that's a year, so I can put off thinking about what's next for a little bit, but my ultimate goal is to continue working in gender equity and reproductive rights.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sophia. I know you have to go back and do a cross-examination, so we will understand if you can't stay. And tell Professor Alves, thank you for letting you go.
I will. Thank you so much.
And last but not least is our amazing alum, Josh Xavier. Josh, make yourself known, just so I
Lori.
see you. There you are, excellent. So Josh is an associate at Partridge, Snow and Hahn, where he does a lot of pro bono. He was named a Super Lawyers Rising Star of 2020 for employment litigation. While Josh was in law school, in addition to his pro bono and public interest work, he was a huge leader. He was president of the Multicultural Law Students Association. He was on the moot court board, and he was involved in everything. And as I was getting ready for this, for your introduction tonight, Josh, I had this vivid memory of talking to you when you had been admitted to Roger Williams, but you hadn't yet decided to come here for law school. And I can picture where I was on a cell phone, I think in downtown Providence somewhere. And I remember, like, you had this amazing job in New York City at Hunter College, and I was begging you to leave New York City and come back to Rhode Island. I don't know how I could have done such a thing, but I'm so glad you said yes, and you came to Roger Williams, and you are a huge mentor to our students and an alum of whom we are so incredibly proud. So thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Laura. The honor is all mine. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell us where you're from and where you went to college and what you did after college?
So I'm from Rhode Island, grew up in Warwick, and I went to college at NYU. When I was at NYU, I became exposed to cases of excessive force used by the government and the police, which sparked my interest in racial justice and fairness and equality. And so after NYU, like Lori mentioned, I worked at Hunter College, where I worked for an organization that helped retain and improve retention rates amongst African-American students at Hunter College. And that really prompted me to continue in my quest for justice and fairness. And as Lori mentioned, when I got to Roger Williams, I did serve as the president of the Multicultural Law Society.
Josh, tell us a little bit about what you did with your summers and the pro bono work you did in law school, and then we'll move on to your externship in clinic.
Sure. Yeah. In my first summer, I interned for a local nonprofit in Providence known as Dorcas International Institute. Dorcas provides legal services to immigrants and immigrant families, to refugees, and they provide more than just legal services. It's a very comprehensive nonprofit that serves immigrant communities. And when I was there, I worked under Carl Kruger, who is a friend of our law school. He's an attorney with Dorcas, and Carl and I, we represented individuals who were applying for citizenship and applying for permanent residency. During that summer, I also did intern, like Sophia did, with Judge McConnell from the Federal District Court, where I really began to cultivate a passion for legal writing, legal research, and the ability to write persuasively. In my second summer, I interned at Wilmer Hale Legal Services in Massachusetts, and I served in their post-foreclosure eviction defense unit, where we represented individuals whose mortgages had been foreclosed and were facing eviction in housing court. And then in my final year, I served with the Pro Bono Collaborative, which is interesting because I'm still a member of the Pro Bono Collaborative. As a student with the PBC, I helped form the Rhode Island Center for Justice. So my friend, who I believe is on the call here tonight, Marcus Swift, special shout out to Marcus. He and I, we, as part of the Pro Bono Collaborative, we kind of laid the groundwork for the Rhode Island Center for Justice. We helped get it off its feet. And in a typical Rhode Island fashion, currently I'm on the board for the Rhode Island Center for Justice. So Marcus and I, we were there when the center was just a baby. And now I'm actually a member of their board. So very, very excited to serve in that capacity.
Josh, tell us a little bit about, so did you have stipends to fund some of that summer work that you did?
I did, yes. Thanks to this event, I was able to survive essentially and to take on those unpaid internships.
Beautiful. And tell us how you spent your third year What clinic externship did you do, and how did it shape your future?
Sure. In my third year, I participated in our law school's small business startup clinic, where we represented and served the business league needs for small businesses and entrepreneurs. And the law firm that I'm with now is a business-based law firm. So many of the lessons that I learned in that clinic, I still use today. And so I'm very grateful to the law school for giving me that opportunity. And I also participated in our law school's public interest externship. And in that capacity, I continued as I did in my first summer with Judge McConnell, and I served as a judicial extern for the First Circuit, and specifically Judge Thompson, who, as many people on this call probably know, herself worked for Rhode Island Legal Services. And so I was able to have some great conversations and dialogue with her about her experience at Rhode Island Legal Services, and really how the courts have this unique ability to shape the legal rights for marginalized communities. And I was able to see in very real form how the decisions made by the courts affect indigent populations.
Beautiful. And Josh, tell us about the pro bono work that you're involved in now.
Sure. Yeah, I'm very pleased and excited to continue to be a member of the Pro Bono Collaborative under the leadership of Eliza and Susie. Specifically, I work in the PBC's project known as the SIJ project. It's referring to the Special Immigrant Juvenile Visa Project. Essentially, we represent young people who would like to stay here in the United States and gain a pathway towards citizenship by applying for a SIJ visa. SIJ visas are for people who have a family court order finding them to have been abused, neglected, abandoned, and it's in the court's opinion that it's really the child's best interest to stay. And so right now we are representing a young person who's only 16, came here when he was 14, and has a very, very sad story. But thanks to the work that we're doing, we're putting him on a pathway towards citizenship. And he's very happy to be here. He's very happy to be in Rhode Island. He comes from a place where public school is not free after the 6th grade. And so him and his family were not able to provide him an education, but here he's thriving at a local public high school, and he's excited to be part of our community. And by the way, I do all of that thanks to the amazing supervision of our law school's director of our immigration clinic, Deb Gonzalez. So special shout out to Deb, and thanks for all your hard work.
Yay. Josh, thank you so much for being here. Did anything else happen in the clinic when you were there? You want to share?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and during my clinic experience, I met the love of my life, Edmi Sally, and she was actually working in the immigration clinic, and I met her during our while I was. See, you got me choked up, Lori, and you got me fumbling now. But yes, that was a highlight of the clinic. And I would say to all of the private attorneys out there on the call who are interested in public interest work, I really would encourage you to check out the Pro Bono Collaborative. It's an amazing setup where the Pro Bono Collaborative will give you a law student or several law students who will help you, and the Pro Bono Collaborative will set you up with a community partner who is really in need of the pro bono legal service to provide. So if you're an attorney out there who's looking for an opportunity to serve in the public interest, please contact the Pro Bono Collaborative.
Thank you, Josh. I have fond memories of stumbling upon Josh and Ed Maselli in the clinic on a Saturday. And I was like, that Josh works so hard. He is such a good guy. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm like, Oh, that's Ed Maselli. Thank you, Josh. Thanks, Sophia. Thanks, Jessica. I'm going to give it back to Greg. I think we came in under our time budget, Greg.
Efficient and effective as always, Laurie. Thank you very much. And my thanks as well to Jessica and to Sophia and to Josh. Really great stories, really great people. Josh, you're already a leader in the legal profession, and Jessica and Sophia, you're going to be in just a couple of months. So we're really glad to welcome you as colleagues. That was really moving, and it demonstrates just how important these programs are. And by funding these programs, we ensure that they continue, that we can continue to offer them and help those in need, both in Rhode Island and beyond its borders. So this brings us close to the end of our evening. I want to thank Corey Lee again and others for their hard work on the silent auction. I have another update. Things are still fast and furious. A bargain in the additional study bar basket. We have career coaching opportunities that are great opportunities. We have, oh, look at this, dinner with the deans for $625. I have not been that popular in a long time. That is even more popular than the drinking club. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but either way, one of the big stunners here, very exciting, is let me find it here. Lunch with me is $130. That's not bad. Pizza beverages with Giannis and Barron for $245. You guys are twice as cool as I am, no doubt. But summer cocktails with President Mialis, $1,025. So that's amazing. That's a hot item. There are some other items on here that are still bargains, including a couple of the bar courses. So get your bids in before 9 o'clock when the bidding finishes. So folks, this has been a nice evening. It is not quite the same as being in person, but we're really glad you joined us. Really appreciate hearing the stories from these students. I've really appreciated getting to know them over this past year. And Josh, so glad to get to know you and appreciate the work that you've done. You help make our school better. In fact, everyone in attendance tonight, our alumni and our donors, our colleagues, our students, our faculty, staff, our friends, you are part of the success of our law school, of your law school, right? We are your law school. If you're a graduate of RWU Law, we're your law school. And the beauty of it is, if you are not a graduate of RWU Law, we're your law school. We are Rhode Island's law school. That gives us a mission and a purpose that I think is just simply magnificent and so important. And there are so many people in need that we can help while we train the lawyers and leaders of the future through the programs that you support and help support tonight. We're proud of what we do. We're proud to continue to support the dreams and ambitions of our students. We will continue to do our work and try to do it well, and we can't do it without your help. We succeed because of you, and you make us better. So I'm honored to be here, honored to be serving as a faculty member and the dean of this really special institution. I have been a lawyer for 27 years now, just 1 year less than this law school has been in existence. And I have been teaching for 17 years now. So I have enough perspective to say that this place is special. And I can say that even though there are so many people on screen tonight whom I have yet to meet in person. I'm really proud of the work that we are doing together within the law school and our outside supporters and friends. We are making a difference together. It's a true privilege, and collectively we are making a difference in Rhode Island and in the world. So this concludes our program for the evening. If we were in person, I would say the bar is open till 9 or 10 p.m., but I can't do that because we're not in person, so I will just simply say thank you. And please feel free to stay around on the Zoom and chat and visit for a while. And don't forget to get your final bids in for the auction. And I look forward to doing this again next year in person. And until then, thank you very much for your help. We're making the world a better place, one project, one student, one future lawyer at a time. Thanks very much and have a great evening.